last little bit of makeup out of the bottom of that container, just wait. Don't throw it out. Find a sharp little tool, run it across the edges, pop open the back. You'd be surprised by how much is still in there.
As I've said on the channel before, TikTok is kind of taking over the world, with not only Gen Zers making dance videos on the app anymore, but people of all ages making content on tons of different topics. One huge genre on TikTok that's been blowing up lately has been beauty videos. And at number 10, fixed stained sponge. So if you use beauty blenders or other types of sponges when doing your makeup, then you know that they can get stained pretty easily. And sometimes when that happens, you might feel like the sponge is kind of dirty and then you just end up throwing it out. But this TikToker has a good solution. Basically, you can just cut off the part that's stained, and usually the part that's under it will look perfectly new. My only issue with this is that I use beauty blenders that are shaped like an egg, so I don't know if it's possible to cut off a portion of it, because then like the whole purpose might kind of be ruined. But if any of you have done this, please let me know. I'd really love to see if that could kind of like revive some of my beauty blenders that are, you know, really gross and stained. And at number 9, pop off acrylic nails. So if you didn't already know by watching the videos, I'm addicted to acrylics. I love them. They're just everything, you know, even though it makes my job a million times harder because then I have to type with these things. These aren't as long, I just got them done, but usually they can get pretty long and then, you know, typing is an issue. But I still love them, and you know what I mean, just kind of need them to feel put together. And I remember back when this all started and everything shut down, I actually had acrylics on and I was forced to take them off myself at home, and it was a really frustrating process that probably did a lot more damage to my nails than really needed to. But now this TikToker actually has a solution, and basically if your nails are loose enough, you can sometimes just pop them off yourself and it will be somewhat of a clean break. And if you want to do it, the best tool to use is one of those tooth flosser things, but it has to be one that's secure on both ends. Yeah, it can't just be the stuff that you kind of rip off freehand, and you basically just put it up to your nail and like swipe it underneath and it'll just pop off super seamlessly. And at number 8, blush tips. So this short video is packed with good tips for putting on blush. And I honestly didn't realize how much blush can change your face until I started watching these TikToks. But one thing in particular that I've learned is that you want it to be really precise with the placement. That's why the tips in this video are to use a small brush when applying so you have all the control. But to ensure that you don't apply too much, hold the brush at the end of the brush, not in the middle like you usually would. And then if needed, you can blot with the same brush or sponge that you applied your foundation with to kind of soften it out. And I've been doing the blotting trick forever because nothing screws up a good makeup routine more than just, you know, too much blush or getting it in the wrong place. So I've been doing that, but the other one to leave it far enough on the brush, that's really interesting and I definitely have to try that. And at number 7, clean fake lashes. If you wear fake lashes and want them to last longer and look better, then this is definitely the trick for you. Basically, you combine some baby shampoo with micellar water in a shallow dish. Then you put in the lashes and just let them soak. Then when you pull them out, you'll be able to pull off the lash glue, and any dirt or makeup that was on the lashes should hopefully have melted off in the wash. And I personally don't wear false lashes because they just seem, you know, too difficult for me to do. I just don't have the patience. But let me know if you think this would work for you, or if there's other ways to care for falsies that, you know, are not in this video. And at number 6, dry shampoo dangers. So if you're an avid user of dry shampoo, this one is kind of a little scary. So this TikTok user says that if you leave dry shampoo in your hair overnight, it can cause dandruff, itchiness, and even hair loss. So to make that not happen, you have to thoroughly brush it out of your hair before you go to sleep. And I was a tiny bit skeptical when watching this, especially of the hair loss comment, because I can't really see how dry shampoo could lead to hair loss, right? But then when looking further into it, basically this would only happen if you frequently skipped hair washing in place of dry shampoo, and used dry shampoo multiple times in between washes. And for me, I definitely don't do that just because my hair would look really gross, and I only ever use dry shampoo on days that I know I'm gonna shower like later that night. So I guess the moral of the story is better safe than sorry, and you should just brush out your hair if there's any dry shampoo in it. But there won't be any bad side effects unless you use dry shampoo like just way more often than you probably should. Let me know how often you use it below between washes. For me, I would look so bad if it was any more than one, so for me it's a hard one, and then I have to wash. Halfway through number 5, clean palettes. So if you have big palettes, then you definitely know the struggle of getting shadows basically like all over it, making it really messy after only a few uses. But here's one really interesting hack. Basically, if you take a makeup wipe and wrap it around something wide and flat, here this person used a primer jar, and then you wipe it across the palette, and basically because it's so perfectly flat, it'll only wipe off the powder and not the shadow that are in like the shallow pans. And I personally haven't tried this one yet, but I always get my powders everywhere, so I'm definitely gonna do this one ASAP. And at number 4, fuller lip trick. So this next hack is something that I swear Miley Cyrus invented because she's been doing this for years. And this is a trick to instantly make your lips look bigger. Basically, instead of outlining your cupid's bow when you do your lipstick, if you wipe it over the cupid's bow and kind of like fill in that gap there, it makes your lips look way bigger. And this is especially helpful for people like me that have a way bigger lower lip than upper lip. Then in the rest of the TikTok, she also makes her lips look slightly bigger by putting a shiny lip gloss only in the middle of her lips. Let me know if you tried this one before. I've definitely done it unintentionally just because I've tried to overline my cupid's bow and then it just kind of turns into a mess that's blurred out because I'm really bad at overlining. So mine hasn't been intentional, but it's definitely happened before. And at number 3, best sponge cleaning solution. So this one I can actually fully recommend because I tried it over the weekend and it worked so well. Like my sponges have never been so clean. So in a shallow dish you mix half olive oil and half dish soap and kind of just mix it together. Then here it's not too clear if she put this solution on a wet or a dry sponge, but from my experience doing it myself, it's better to get it a little wet so it absorbs better. Then you just coat the sponge and let it soak for a few minutes, and when you rinse it, you'll be so shocked by the amount of makeup that comes out of the sponge. Like I seriously was ready to throw out some of my older sponges, but because this cleaned them so well, I don't have to anymore, so thank you so much, TikTok. And at number 2, nose contouring. So I'm sure you all know the traditional way to contour the nose. Basically, you'll just take some sort of contour powder and carve out the sides of your nose to kind of shadow the sides. And then you can make the part in front, look light and add some shimmer to make it slim. But this way is kind of reversing that. And instead of using shadows to contour, you use color on the front of your nose to elevate it against the light of the baking powder. So in this video, she started by taking baking powder along the sides of her nose where people would generally contour. Then while there was still a thick layer of powder on the sides of the nose, she added a warm blush on the front of her nose to add that contrast. Then after lightly blending it out, she adds the finishing touch of 2 spots of highlight on the nose. And voila, there's basically your contour. And in my opinion, this looks really natural, especially if you're wearing the same blush color on your cheeks, and might even be easier for a lot of people too, because I could never do the super specific nose contour the beauty gurus do. Like I literally just take some contour powder and kind of like slap it on the sides of my nose and call it a day when I'm getting ready for work, but I really want to try this one. And finally, at number 1, foundation hack. This is a hack that went super viral on TikTok, and it's very intricate, but allegedly will get you super flawless coverage for your foundation. Basically, you start off after moisturizing, then you apply loose powder. Then after you put on a light layer of powder, you spray some setting spray to moisten it up. Then this step is really strange, but you'll put on your primer, but make sure that the setting spray is dry before you put that on. Then after all that, you can now put on the foundation. Then the person who's reacting to the voiceover says how shocked she is by how good that it looks, and her skin ended up looking flawless, even without using the beauty filter on TikTok. And I don't have the patience for this hack personally, but if you have tried this, please let us all know if it was as good as it looked or if it wasn't worth the extra effort. I don't know about you guys, but since we've been in the queue, I've been addicted to TikTok. Honestly, I know we have a few TikTok haters on the channel, and I definitely get it, but once the algorithm really knows what you like, it literally starts serving you the best videos that you want to watch. And for me, a lot of those videos have been beauty related, and there are some literally life-changing hacks on there that I actually use daily, but some of the hacks aren't so great and actually can be kind of dangerous. Starting off at number 10, heated lash curler. Okay, so this one can definitely be safe as long as you do it right, but if you do it wrong, it can really hurt your eyes/eyelashes. So basically this hack is when people will take a metal eyelash curler and heat it up using a blow dryer. Then after the curler is heated, you basically put it on your eyes and curl it like normal, but because it's heated, it'll work basically like any other hot tool and make the curl last way longer than it would have normally, which is obviously great, but the issue with this happens when people don't wait long enough for it to cool down before they put it on their eye and basically put it on directly after, and then you can literally burn the out of your eye. So even though this actually is a pretty good hack, you just need to make sure you can check the temperature of the curler, maybe on your hand or something, before it goes anywhere near your precious face. And I know it's precious because you're an Aya watcher. And at number 9, dimples. This one is just kind of gross, and it makes me cringe how many people might actually be doing this. I feel like it's not a lot, but still. So a new trend with the kids is having dimples. But obviously there's not really much someone can do to fake dimples other than getting one of those like cheek piercings. But apparently this TikToker has a solution on how to essentially give yourself dimples. Basically over the track, she says how her dimples aren't real and that she made them by shoving a pen in her cheek, and after you do this long enough, it can put a permanent indent in the muscle that can give you a dimple. So 2 things with this. Firstly, I don't think that actually works. Like, it probably would temporarily work like it did in the video, but I'm confident it definitely wouldn't last. But secondly, it just scares me that a young person could actually believe this, then end up really hurting themselves by doing this. Like, especially if you take the cap off the pen and use like the pointy side of the pen, that could really hurt. So yeah, don't even bother with this one because I don't think it's legit, but even if it is, I don't think a cute dimple is worth whatever damage that could actually do to your face. And at number 8, shaved eyebrows. Now that Bella Hadid is making the fox eye trend incredibly popular, people are starting to achieve this look by shaving off the ends of their eyebrows, then filling it in to make it appear more lifted. But there are some problems with this one. Like, the obvious is that you can make a small mistake and then you end up shaving off like way more of your eyebrow than you wanted to. And the second for me is like, because I'm just too lazy to risk this, but if you do this, that means you basically have to fill in your brows every time you leave the house, or you run the risk of looking kind of crazy. And for me, I'm just not the best with brow makeup, so if I had to fill in my eyebrows that much, I would probably look insane because I wouldn't even be able to do it right. So I guess if you end up doing this, that means you definitely have a lot of confidence in your makeup talents, and I definitely salute you for that. Up at number 7, face shaving. So this one is a bit of a toss-up for me. I've seen it all over social media for years at this point, and although I don't think it's actually harmful, I think there's probably more risks to it than people make you think. For me personally, I actually tried this on my cheek area because I wanted to see what it was like, and it was, you know, the trend was all the rage. And my peach fuzz was actually replaced with some like black hairs on my face in some parts. And I think it kind of made my acne worse in those areas as well, to be honest. But that is just my experience, and I know there are tons of beauty gurus that swear by it, like Huda Kattan and Corinna Kopp. But with this one, just make sure you're careful because you can still get razor bumps or even cut yourself if you're not careful. And I have cut myself on a few occasions, so believe me, it happens more than you think. And at number 6, coffee scrub. This is one that skincare experts like Hiram on YouTube and other dermatologists hate to see people do, and that's making a DIY exfoliator out of coffee beans. There are a few issues with this one. First, it's basically the worst type of natural exfoliant that you can use on your face, and if you really want to use a DIY scrub, sugar is actually much better because it gets broken down easily in water, unlike coffee, which only breaks down in boiling hot water. Also, it's the most damaging because the coffee shards are all different sizes when they're ground up, which means that some will over exfoliate your skin while some shards won't really do much, and that inconsistency is really bad for the skin. Halfway through at number 5, product buildup check. Okay, not gonna lie, but this one kind of scares me a lot. So basically, this hack is for you to see how much product buildup there is on your hair, and how the TikTokers are doing this is by taking scissors and then stretching your hair and then like scraping the sharp edge along the hair to see what ends up coming off onto the scissors. And the point is that if there's a lot of white stuff that ends up getting scraped off, that means that your shampoo or leave-in products have way too much silicone in them, and that's basically just coating your hair and might not actually be adding any nutrients to it. But also, like, how easy does it look? Like you could just literally scrape off so much of your hair, right? And even worse is if you do this pretty often and it kind of just maybe like thins your hair out a little bit, you never really notice it, but then like a few weeks later you have like way less hair than you did before. But since I think you'd only be doing this once or twice, it's probably not the end of the world, but I don't know, that just like literally scrape off all your hair. I don't know. I'm not trying that one. And at number 4, glue peel off mask. This is another one that honestly hurts a little bit to watch. I'm sure you guys have already heard, but people have been saying that DIY peel off masks made of glue will basically take all the gunk out of your skin, because the glue will stick to, you know, that gunk, and then when you take it off, it'll come out when you peel it off. But like with everything else on this list, it's not all it's cracked up to be. In this video in particular, this girl used way stronger glue than I'm sure she intended to, and it ended up taking multiple tries for her to get it off her skin, as well. It just looked really painful and not like a situation you want to be in. Also, the glue doesn't always come off nicely, and sometimes if it doesn't just peel off, that glue can actually get stuck in your pores and just make things a million times worse. So I'd say there are way better face mask hacks on TikTok that you should be trying instead. And at number 3, pore vacuums. This is another one that kind of gives me chills just because of how scary it looks. Like, the thing literally looks like a torture device. Come on. Basically, these pore vacuums are tiny vacuums that you drag across your skin, and while you do, it's sucking all the gunk out of it. So in theory, it seems like something that could actually be pretty useful, and I was actually really interested in getting one. But this TikTok basically shows you the bad side of it. Since it's sucking your skin in sometimes very sensitive areas like around your nose and your eyes, it can definitely be too harsh, and ended up making this guy bleed. Then there are many cases of people having marks on their skin the day after using it, with the product leaving bruises and broken capillaries on the face. And after literally seeing blood from this guy's face, it's a hard pass for me. In at number 2, facial steamer. So this one is another one that's not harmful, but it's just not all that it's cracked up to be. I've seen facial steamers all over TikTok as the hottest new item that everyone needs for clear skin. And the marketing is actually pretty convincing, as it claims to basically just get your skin perfectly prepped for treatments and masks by opening up the pores. But a lot of skincare experts have weighed in and say this is actually just a myth, as it doesn't actually open your pores and make them any better for your product. It just kind of loosens the dirt that's in the skin like it might do with just regular water. So if you want to give it a shot, it won't actually cause any problems to your skin unless it's just too hot and you get kind of burnt. That's actually happened to me a few times. But mostly it's just not really worth it for the coin. And finally at number 1, DIY bangs. Now that we've all been inside and unable to get our hair done, people are resorting to TikTok hacks to do simple trims on their hair. But then there's some other people that take it just a step further and are actually cutting bangs from TikTok hacks. And I just do not have the guts whatsoever to try this, but basically the trick is to section it off, and then when you have the portion you want to be the bang, you like twist it around until you can't twist it anymore, and then you cut it diagonally and basically just pray to God that you don't mess it up. But as you can expect, a lot of people do end up messing it up and then hating it and crying on TikTok. And the biggest problem that I see is this twisting. I get that it probably gives you a good look, but it's a complete dice roll on how long your bangs are gonna be, because you don't know how long you twist it. It's just like, how do you know what the length of your hair is gonna be? Like, you're pretty much only a few inches from being like Lord Farquaad. And since you're cutting your hair, it can't always be fixed in the salon. So I'm telling you to really think twice before you do this one. Like I said in the last one, TikTok is an amazing place to find tips and hacks for almost anything in life. But because you're listening to random strangers on the internet, not everything they say should be trusted. And there are some beauty hacks on TikTok you should definitely not try. Starting off at number 10, witch hazel. One thing that I see on TikTok literally all the time is people talking about witch hazel and using it as a toner to try and clear up acne. And I've always been really skeptical of it because I've heard often that it's way too drying to use on the skin, and after doing some research, it seems like the reason that people think it's good for acne is because one of the strongest ingredients in it dries out the skin a lot, which can make it look like it's gotten rid of oil and tightened pores, but it's actually just stripping the skin of everything and drying it out so much it's tightening up and giving you the look of smaller pores. And there's actually some debate as to whether witch hazel can do more harm than good, as it can be so drying that it makes you overproduce oil, and then you'll break out even worse than you were before. And at number 9, CBD. Another thing that's becoming popular on TikTok is people using CBD based products in their skincare routine. And this can be with things like face oils to lip balm and skin cream. And even though there's absolutely nothing wrong with these products, doctors are saying that the products might not live up to all the hype. One doctor named Dr. Shaw gave his opinion on the ingredient, saying he believed it's quote overpromises results with more research needed. And if you haven't already heard the hype for this one, CBD is supposed to give you all the benefits of pot, but none of the psychedelics. So it'll treat anxiety, pain relief, and even allegedly acne. But like the doctor above mentioned, since CBD is so new to the market, there haven't really been enough studies done on the ingredient, and there's not a lot of proof that these claims are actually true. And for all you skincare lovers out there, Hiram made a whole video on CBD and skincare, and he agreed that it's just too new to know what it's actually gonna do. But I definitely think it won't hurt to try, and if you see results, then more power to you. And at number 8, jade rollers. Another thing that's all over the place are these jade rollers that you roll on your face. A lot of the hype around them says that they will depuff your face in the morning, as well as other people saying you can even slim your face permanently if you use them over a long period of time along the jawline. But it seems like this product is actually super overhyped and doesn't actually do anything, with doctors agreeing that it's not harmful to the face unless you're pressing too hard around your eyes or something, but it's not really worth your time or money. So the logic here is that if you have one and you like it, no problem. But if you think it's gonna depuff your face or do anything all that impressive, it probably won't. And at number 7, toothpaste on pimples. A super common acne trick that's been around for ages has been the trick to put toothpaste on your pimples to shrink them overnight. And according to the same doctor as before, Dr. Shaw, this actually used to be a thing back in the day, and there was an ingredient called triclosan that actually helped with pimples. But the issue is that this ingredient isn't found in toothpaste anymore after it was banned by the FDA. And all that's left are ingredients that are probably going to irritate your skin, especially if it's a whitening toothpaste. Spot treatments with either benzoyl peroxide or salicylic acid will definitely do the trick instead. And at number 6, lash glue as eyeliner.
First thing you want to do is get your lash glue as close as possible to your lash line. Plop those babies on. You don't even have to wait for the glue to dry.
So this one's for all you out there that wear false lashes. Here this woman gives a trick on how you can apply false lashes really quickly. And instead of applying the glue to the lash like you're supposed to, instead apply the lash glue directly to your eye like eyeliner. Then you apply the lash to your eye like usual and then pinch it together with tweezers or something. And this is honestly a really good hack, especially if you're bad at putting on lashes normally. But there's one major issue with this that I'm sure a lot of you are already thinking of, and that's the fact that the chances of getting glue in your eye with this method is like 4,000% higher than usual. And although there are tons of people that are really skilled and could easily do this, make sure if you're gonna try this, you are really good at doing eyeliner. Halfway through number 5, lip gloss all over the face. So this is another thing I see on TikTok a lot. And that is people using one beauty product all over their face for multiple uses. And in this video specifically, they're using lip gloss on their eyes as eyeshadow, on the cheeks for blush, and as lip gloss of course. And there's nothing inherently wrong with this other than the results that she's going to see 5 seconds after applying are probably going to be a lot different than a few hours later. With beauty YouTuber Robert Welsh saying that since lip products are meant to be hydrating, the gloss on the lips and cheeks will get super oily and greasy after a while, telling his viewers to be very aware that the different ingredients will make a big difference on how it looks on the skin. And saying that if you really want to try this, matte liquid lipsticks would usually be a lot better than a gloss. And at number 4, lip balm on the face. When the glass skin trend was getting really big on the internet, this user put out a video saying how you can get the glass skin look with just a clear lip balm. And she shows herself dabbing some onto her cheeks and eyelids for a glowy look, kinda duping highlighter. But oh boy did this cause a lot of debates in the comments of that video, with some people saying that this is gonna break her out and leave her looking and feeling really greasy, and with others saying that it won't clog pores and is safe to use. And during my research I found that a hack that models use on the runway is actually putting Vaseline on their face. So it might be fine, maybe for only a short period of time. So this one's a bit of a toss up for me, but it seems like there might be some issues with it, so a liquid highlighter would probably just be easier. In at number 3, floss for pores. This one shook me to my core, let me tell you. I don't think this is actually a thing that people do, but this girl has a lot of followers that she's telling this to, so I thought I'd mention it.
I have a trick for you guys. I'm someone who gets a lot of blackheads on my nose, and I'm going to show you how to get rid of them. Apply hot water to your nose to open your pores. All you need.
So here she says that she's a hack to clean out the blackheads in your skin. So at first you're intrigued, but then she shows you how she's gonna take some floss, and I'm talking about the ones that are already connected to the stick, and literally scrape it down her nose to get the blackheads out. And like, just thinking about someone doing this gives me the chills. Like, watching her video, I couldn't even watch the whole thing, it was so bad. And she does actually show a lot of gunk on the tool after she's done, but also there's just so much that can and probably is going wrong with this. I would never recommend someone to do this. And also when Hiram saw this, he literally lost his shit as well. And also one website said it could lead to purpura, which is a patch of small bleeding blood vessels on the skin. So, hard no for me. In at number 2, cinnamon on the face. This is one that I personally haven't seen around that much, but considering natural DIYs are touted pretty heavily online, I can definitely believe it. And speaking from a lot of skincare YouTubers I see online, natural products do not always mean they're better, and they can often be worse on the skin. And I guess one manifestation of that is using cinnamon products in skincare and other DIY face masks. But be warned if you're gonna do this, cause this spice can actually leave a burn on your skin and generate heat, leaving your skin really sensitive and uncomfortable. And finally, number 1, citrus fruits. If you've been on skincare TikTok, it's kind of inevitable that you've seen some masks or scrubs with lemon or lime as a main ingredient. And you might think this isn't an issue because skincare brands come out with citrus products all the time, right? The difference is that these products were specifically made for the face, but that lemon in your fridge, was not whatsoever. And when you put lemons on the skin, it can cause irritation, redness, peeling, and dryness. Also, if you use citrus on your skin and don't rinse it off well enough, then go out into the sun, you can get phytophotodermatitis, which can cause blisters on the face. Although I'm sure that's definitely pretty rare.